Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for May 5th through May the 11th. These are the three people that almost got to be an honorable mention. Billy Sosa for his MGR Crew prison comment. Copenhagen Keiju for his MGR prison comment. When I ask the whole MGA crew, like, what would it be like if they went to prison? And the third is from Art Bell, and it's just a random comment talking about, I think, the 5 text a woman can send a man. A woman can send a man to make him fall for them. Those are the almost honorable mentions. But starting out here with the first honorable mention, we have Wesley Wyndham Price. MGR maintains his innocence and has a poster in his cell, works for the warden to get him video games. The warden has a big box PC need. After 10 years, his cell is empty behind his Miss Pac-Man poster. There's a hole, and he was never seen again. John Hancock declares he's immortal, gets shanked the next day. It didn't kill him. He should be dead. Everyone in the prison jokes he must be immortal. He lives the rest of his life in prison, becomes institutionalized, becomes delusional, saying things like, I'm going to build a gaming museum, and I'm immortal. Reggie becomes the guy who can get you anything, knows everyone for the right price. If you got the games, he can smuggle anything into the prison. Drunken Master Paul trades all the holes for sweet liquor. He's protected by the guards also because, becomes the prison snitch, because he becomes a prison snitch for sweet booze, where he has a little rum. There was a little problem here with the end of your sentence there. I'm not taking any points off, but I couldn't quite make the last part of that out, because all of the rum is gone. I don't know, a snitch? Rum is gone? I'm not going to think about it. I'm just moving on to the next one. Riggs! I think he'd end up joining a group of skinheads, become a member of a gang, get a tattoo, eventually become their leader. He'll kill you for a single game. Kelsey gets tested daily. The first week she puts all the girls in the infirmary. She becomes a pack leader, owns the girls, trades the girls with the guards for anything she wants. A PlayStation 4K TV, WonderSwan color. Kinsey wants some of that protection, becomes the lover of Kelsey, part of the Kelsey prison harem. Laugh out loud. The next honorable mention comes to us from Wolfpack 1. Wolfpack 1 says, oh my God, laugh out loud, that really doesn't happen in prison. No one tests others in prison by patting them on the butt. They would get beat up or killed if that happened. Also, dropping the soap is a myth. If you drop your soap and pick it up, it means nothing. If, when picking up your soap, someone comes up behind you, the person behind you will get jumped and sent to the hospital. Plus, they don't use bar soap. It's rare. Commissary provides liquid soap like you buy at the store, only for 3 times the price. Heterosexual and gay men are always separated and don't interact. If people are revealed as gay in the hetero group, then they get hurt. That stuff only can happen in a max security prison where the absolute worst of mankind are. Where your race means more than gay or straight, so they are all together. I've done time in Olmito, Texas, Carrizales, Rucker, and prison can help some, but it rarely fixes any of the problems. I wouldn't want prison to be the thing that helps anyone grow. The absolute truth is that prison throws most into a never-ending cycle of poverty, crime, violence, and anger. Our justice system is broken right now. Prison is for profit and being used as leverage over poor people to plea out cases and keep jails full. Prison breeds violence and sends people down paths of misguided values and hate. Yes, prison can help some, but honestly, for a non-violent person, we should exhaust all avenues other than prison to teach lessons in our society. Thank you, Wolfpack 1. Next honorable mention comes to us from Toxic Holy Grenade, THG. Rick If you also see most of his rants talk about Angry Joe in regards to sports games, as well as his top 10 worst games of 2018, he tells the sports gamers to not purchase Madden, FIFA, as well as NBA 2K. And he also has the balls to insult them anytime they constantly buy them. And yet, he does the same fucking thing himself in order to review and preview the games that appear to be bad. He even contradicted himself when saying for his possible haters to go see Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker and if they try to plan to prove him wrong. Additionally, these are actually bad career moves because it not only potentially makes certain people saying that appear hypocritical in terms of buying subpar products, but also it's extremely insensitive, petty, and also makes him look like a wrongfully biased douchebag. At any point, customers inevitably purchase bad products. We mustn't blame them for just simply buying them, because if we do, then again, from what the consequences would be, these actions will just make us look as bad as the corporations releasing them. Case in point, in the scenario where a corporation sells a product that happens to be bad in quality, if any of us are that desperate to point the finger at another group of individuals, we should rather point it at the dishonest reviewers and not the customers. It's that simple. Thank you, Toxic Holy Grenade THG. Now, getting right into the medal ceremony, we got the bronze medal going to James GK. Ever since Angry Joe tried to shut down comments and criticism, I don't understand. I'd go as far as to say that I refuse to understand why people on YouTube hold him on such high regard. Coincidentally enough, I stopped watching him when he uploaded his reaction video on the first Last of Us 2 trailer back in 2016. And you know what I realized around that time? I realized that Joe was basically what I'd like to call baby's first game reviewer, or game reviewer for dummies. While we're at it, I believe that ever since he became bigger, both independent and network game reviewers and journalists have been producing dumber articles and reviews so they can appeal to a younger demographic. Of course, there are exceptions, but it would be naive to not notice the dumbing down of gaming analysis. Otherwise, news networks such as Yongye, Legacy Killa, and Review Tech USA would never get their numbers increased. Neither Movie Bob would rejoin the Escapist magazine. It's all about keeping people that are famous for nothing relevant in gaming journalism nowadays. Well, we remember back in 2017 when Angry Joe got triggered, got angry, I guess it's in his name there, he got angry at his own audience for criticizing him for revealing in a video he'd be taking 2 months off, I guess from work. I'm doing that thing with my fingers. That he would take 2 months off, made a big announcement, I'm taking a vacation for 2 months from talking about video games. And people left those kind of comments like, oh, you're taking 2 months off from playing and talking about video games. Okay, and then they compared what he does to, you know, their actual freaking jobs, you know, sorry. I mean, to most people, that's kind of like you lack self-awareness if you're going to make an announcement, hey, I've been working so hard and I'm taking 2 months off from YouTube. You know, which there's nothing wrong with saying you're taking 2 months off from YouTube. I'm just saying if you're in the position of Angry Joe and you make a big deal about it and you want to call what you do a job and you're taking 2 months off of your job, then expect retaliation from your audience. Common sense people leaving common sense comments, you know? The thing is, Angry Joe started deleting comments at first. He didn't like that. Then I made a video, Angry Joe, Critic versus Criticism, where he straight shut down his entire fucking comment section. People don't believe me, but no, in 2017, he shut down his entire fucking comment section. And that right there was the moment where I stopped taking him seriously before that. But no one should take Angry Joe seriously as a critical reviewer. Because this motherfucker couldn't even handle the criticism from his own angry army. Believe it or not. So yeah, that's one thing right there. That's one reason no one should take him fucking seriously as an actual games reviewer, because he can't even accept criticism himself. But you talked about his reaction. I didn't see his reaction video to The Last of Us 2 trailer back in 2019. But you said you realized at that point he was like baby's first game reviewer, or a game reviewer for dummies. I'll say he's the kind of game reviewer that a lot of people point to Because here's the thing. Angry Joe is part of a business on YouTube. He's in the business of gathering in the most audience possible. He literally does not care about quality on his channel. He wants to get the most audience possible. So, many times he will probably say to himself, you know what, I probably better not give this game a good review or this game a bad review because my audience might not like it. It depends on which way the winds are blowing. You see? This person doesn't have a ton of credibility because, like I said, he already plays a fake character. Angry Joe is a fake character. Maybe at one point before he got a little bit of fame on the internet, he was different. But nowadays, he's going to be making those calculations. Nowadays, he got his Patreon. He's taking money from his audience directly. Nowadays, he's going to have all these, all these sponsorships and shit. So who he is right now, currently in 2020, is far separated from who he was when he got on YouTube over like a decade ago. They're two completely different people. And if anything, the dumbing down of himself, his content, that is a character created to appeal, like I said, to the lowest common denominator. The stupid motherfuckers, right? In comparison, people like myself, I don't want stupid people here. I'm sorry. If people are stupid, if they're ignorant, I don't want a lot of stupid, ignorant people here. So I'm the opposite as I frame my channel to not be a for everyone channel. I'm not for everybody, okay? To understand and follow along with me most of the time, you have to have some intelligence. Whereas Angry Joe, hey, you know what? He makes that easy to understand content for everybody, Like I said, thank you, James GK. And man, it is raining outside like crazy if you hear that in the background. Yeah, wow, it's coming down. Next up with the silver medal, we have Rasta Populus. Cal Arts is pretty much the newest animation cancer. I used to hate 3D animated shows, but when the only alternative is Cal Arts, bean-faced, noodle-armed, copy-paste crap with laugh-out-loud so-random humor thrown in, I think I prefer DreamWorks series because at least they don't underestimate the value of having a standard for the character and setting design. They're noticeably less adult-friendly if you're bothered by shows and they're now aimed at kids and preteens. But as far as an adult, I stopped caring about that when I, became an adult and could very much appreciate the world building in shows like Troll Hunters and the like. Adventure Western animated series would have been pretty much dead to cheap comedy if it wasn't for shows that are streaming exclusive. The justification the companies give is that kids don't have that attention span to sit for 20 minutes and follow a continuing story, but I think that's a load of bullshit. Kids can sit through an hour, 2-hour animated movie, but not 19 minutes per week on a show? I'm sorry, but have those people ever been kids or were they born as teenagers? The real reason Cal Arts thrives now is because it's far easier for the animators in Korea to animate with this style, which is considered very storyboard friendly. It's for cutting expenses, nothing more, nothing less. Don't buy the "my kids can't focus" shit. There are like 1 million anime aimed at 5 to 10-year-olds too, with 100+ episodes. If Japan, the country where every person has like 5 mobile devices since the age of 5, can produce that kind of content for children, I refuse to believe it can't be done in the West for any reason other than the companies knowing it's very cheap and underestimating children. You were talking about, and your comment was on my video discussing Thundercats Roar and Teen Titans Go, which are huge downgrades from what came before them. The Thundercats original series in 1985 and the Thundercats reboot in 2011. Really good in their own ways. People debate, which is, I think most people probably prefer the original in 1985. But the 2011 reboot was no slouch, especially in that beautiful animation. Beautiful animation. I think it was freaking beautiful, okay? Visually, Visually, Thundercats Roar is one of the worst things. It is hard to watch. It is just hard to look at. Hard to look at. And if you close your eyes, it's hard to listen to as well. People might say, hey, you know what? The defenders say it's just for kids. Kids have short attention spans. If you have a great show, if you have a great animated show, kids will watch it. Teenagers will watch it. Adults will watch it. A great show kind of has elements that a lot of people can really appreciate. Okay, think about a lot of those great anime shows from the 1980s, from that era. You can still go back and watch some of those. The animation maybe not look as good compared to current standards, but it still had coherent stories people could follow. People could follow the stories in that. I tried to watch an episode of Thundercats Roar, and I think it was one. The episode with the driller, and I didn't follow much of it because I was just curious. I'm like, did it get any better? I think that was episode 4 because I had seen the first or second episode, and I wondered if that got any better because I'm a fan of Thundercats, and I'm gonna give it a chance. People told me, hey, you need to give this show a chance, and it started out with freaking Lion-O with a hair dryer, drying his hair, and then getting angry at the hair dryer, literally turning on the hair dryer and going, hot! And then throwing down the hair dryer. I was like, okay, what the fuck is this shit? It's no excuse. Just because you're making a show mostly aimed at children, there's no excuse not to at least get the animation right. Not to get the animation right. And there's other animated shows or animated movies that have elements in those movies. A lot of the Disney movies, DreamWorks movies, there's elements in some of those movies that actually can appeal to, adults, or there's, built-in jokes or something you might laugh at or something. I don't see any redeemable qualities in Thundercats Roar. And you talk about CalArts, and the reason is because it's to cut corners and cost. It just comes down to, well, you can cut cost and you can have simplistic type animation. Perfect example, okay? Batman the Animated Series. The original Batman the Animated Series. One of I think the top 10 animated series of all time, hands down, right? The animation, very simplistic, but not bad to look at. Not bad to look at. I mean, just the drawings. It had animation. Literally, I was looking at a scene in Thundercats Roar, and the mouth goes open, close, open, close, open, close. And then the noodle arms and shit. Oh, I fucking hate the noodle arms. Okay, whoever started the trend of the noodle arms, no. Fuck that shit, and fuck Thundercats Roar. I can't say it enough. Thank you, Rust Populous. Now we come down to the gold medal. The gold medal comes to us from 8-Bit Sniper. 8-Bit Sniper says, I've noticed scalpers exploiting the pandemic by skyrocketing prices of retro games. Yet unlike these facading beggars, I'm not trying to make my collection a crowd-funded mooch museum. I've actually got two sort of doomsday solutions when it comes to times like this when I collect retro games. One, this likely won't be of too much avail due to the coronavirus epidemic, but when games in North America skyrocket, I often order Japanese versions of them. It's a lot easier for me that way, at least cause I got a family in Japan who annually send me household item stuff. I mainly reside in Canada, but downside to Japanese PlayStation collecting is if you use a North American system, you'd need to mod your console because Sony was not import friendly in their early days. And at least for me, I gotta wait a long time before they arrive in Canada, unless the rare occasion comes where my family and I take a trip to good old Japan. And solution number 2, I just go digital. I picked up a decent amount of PS1 games in the PSN store for under $10 each, and on the 3DS and Wii U eShops, I've been picking up NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo games from prices ranging from $3 to $15 depending on the system of the game originally came from. And the only problem I can see with the eShops is that they'll shut down soon, but mainly just in South America, these Nintendo ones at least. I don't know what systems other than a PSP Sony's going to shut down the main stores from. Well, I've never used the eShops. I can't tell you about buying things on there. But you bring up buying things digitally, and if you get a great deal on it digitally, if it's the kind of thing you can buy digitally and you can keep it on whatever console and there's no fear of it going away or being deleted, you know, if it's connected to a service and you have to log into the service to use the game, and then let's say the service stops being supported, then you basically kind of wasted your money, didn't you? But again, I can't speak to eShops and that because I don't have a Nintendo console. As far as physical collecting, I haven't heard about the prices skyrocketing. I haven't personally heard about it, but I haven't followed it. Maybe a lot of you leave in the comment section down below can tell me if you've seen a lot of prices increase on retro games during the pandemic. I could see it happening though. I could see a lot of people taking advantage of people. It's harder to get out and search because a lot of people don't want to get out and go places as much. So I could see maybe with people having the only option to buy things online, guess what? Guess what? They get in their minds, ding, 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 ding. This is an opportunity for me to raise the price even more on some of these retro games I'm selling because people aren't getting out as much. Some people might say, hey, that's just capitalism. That's just capitalism. I think it's a pretty much scumbag fucking move. I think it's a scumbag move, you know. You can't tell me that you're going to charge twice as much for this game right here. Hey, Flintstones Dinosaur Peak, you know, it's twice as much now. It's going for twice as much because a lot of people aren't getting out and about now. So I think that's kind of fucked up on that. You talk about how you had a tip for everybody that when the pricing gets really high on retro games, you just get them from Japan. Okay? Now, I don't speak Japanese. I've never bought a Japanese game for a system. If I did, though, maybe shooters. Maybe I get some Japanese versions of shooting games. Because think about it. It's not the kind of game where you need to really see a lot of the text. Okay? That, maybe some platformers, some straight-up games that don't require a lot of reading. Okay? Like role-playing games that have a lot of reading in them. I wouldn't get the Japanese versions. Because, like, I can't speak that language. But yeah, to a lot of you that collect, have you noticed that the Japanese versions of the games are a lot cheaper? And leave it in the comment section down below if you've collected a lot of Japanese games and been happy with them or not happy with them.